Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels after a Thursday joint practice between the New England Patriots and your beloved Green Bay Packers. A practice that saw the Patriots strike back, if you will, after a day on Wednesday that I think any objective observer, including a few people I talked to with the Patriots, would agree that the Packers got the best of the Pats on Wednesday. Today, the Patriots definitely got the better of the Packers. They were the much more aggressive, much more physical, flat-out better team on the field. There were plenty of good moments for the Packers, plenty of good stuff to go over and work through and learn from, but on the whole, no doubt about it, the Patriots came to assert themselves and did exactly that. Good to see everybody in the comment section. Thank you so much for jumping in right away. I just want to, before I get into anything, I want to give a shout out to Johnny Rivers because, Johnny, I had this exact same thought. Johnny mentioned how things were a little too rosy here around the Packers and how he was remembering the domination of the New Orleans Saints when the Saints came to practice and how that all became a mirage once the regular season began. So I'm with you. I like the fact that the Packers kind of got punched in the mouth today, and they can respond to that, hopefully starting on Saturday night. But I had the exact same thought, thinking, sitting there on the sideline this afternoon. Like, this is a very good development. The day the Packers had is something they'll remember, especially all these young guys who probably saw a little bit more physicality than they were expecting. There was one play for me that really exemplified it when the twos were out there and Kraft caught a ball out in the flat. He turns to go upfield, and the Patriots safety just lit him up. And I do not think he was ready for it. And he fumbles, and he's laying on the ground. Thankfully, he got up and was able to walk off under his own power. But the Pats came to lay the wood, and they did quite a bit. And I have zero doubt you will hear a lot about the fights. There were certainly plenty of skirmishes. Nothing that kind of rose to the level of an all-out brawl or anything like that, but there were certainly a number of instances where both benches clear, guys go running out on the field to try and either join in or stop it, but nothing got out of hand, thankfully. But as Elton Jenkins pointed out in the locker room afterwards, something I hadn't really thought of on the field, but he's spot on. He said, most of those fights were just wide receivers and defensive backs. Like the big heavies were just like, okay, I do my job. I'll go back to the huddle. So yeah, the Patriots certainly came to play today. Jabrill Peppers, let me get I just got to give this guy a shout out. He arrived in a mood, man. He would not stop talking this entire practice. It was amazing. He was a force of nature. He legit stood on the sideline and just yelled everything and anything he could think of at the Packers offensive players throughout the entirety of the practice. I mean, the man did not stop. It was a 3-hour practice practically, and he didn't shut up once. It was pretty incredible. It got to the point where when they were kind of at the end doing a lot of their drill, their team stuff, 2-minute drill stuff, Jair Alexander started yelling it back at him when he was on the field, saying, "Nobody heard of you since college." Like he was trying to go at him for only being famous for what he did in his college playing days. Like it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, shout out Jabrill Peppers because man, he backed it up. He played well. So it was that kind of day. The Patriots arrived. Certainly, I would suspect after a film study with their coaching staff yesterday/this morning. Probably Belichick and company putting it in their ear, look, this is ridiculous. You do not let this team get the better of you again. And they most certainly did not. The only other thing I'll say is what's so valuable about today is the work that Jordan Love got against a really sound passing defense. Jordan really struggled today to push the ball down the field. Took a lot of check downs, and when he did try and push the ball down the field, he did not have a whole lot of success. Now, credit the Patriots. They were excellent in coverage. And he had 2 throws that I thought were really stood out. My favorite one was a classic cover 2 beater up the right sideline. Wicks had done a phenomenal job getting off the jam and was streaking up the right sideline, and he threw a perfect ball over the corner in front of the safety for a big gain. That was probably his best play of the day, I would say. But Yeah, a real tough day at the office for Jordan Love. And as I've told you guys all offseason, this will happen. He will have tough days. He will have tough moments. And now it's about how does he learn from this? How does he develop from it? It's like I've said at the top, it's a very good development for the Packers and for Jordan Love. Everything that happened today, no doubt about it. What's going on, everybody, in the comments section? Let me give my customary shout outs to our good friends over at Ticket King. If you want to watch the Green Bay Packers in 2023, you want to utilize Ticket King. Go to Cheesehead TV, either our website or our app. You can go to the schedule. We have individualized links for each and every game. Use Ticket King. Don't use these national companies like Ticketmaster or SeatGeek. Use Ticket King, people. That's what you want to do. The other thing you want to do probably is win some Madden codes. I have to push it to tomorrow. I know I said I'd do it today, but tomorrow, Friday, last chat of the week, I promise, I will be giving away 3 Madden codes for each platform. 3 on PC, 3 on Xbox, and 3 on PlayStation. So if you want to win those, be here for tomorrow's chat. And we will most certainly be giving those away. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sorry, I can't do it today, but I will be doing it tomorrow. Hello to everybody in the comments section. So good to see you all. Oh, my goodness. So many folks coming up in here. How are we doing, folks? Look at this. Jacob, first off, let me thank you for joining the Carry the G Club here on YouTube. Really appreciate the support, man. Vex, how you doing, man? Thanks for the super chat. Football is brutal, tough sport in which you supposedly want to impose your will on your opponent. Playing your cornerbacks 10 yards off just makes it easy on the offense. Soft coaching is troubling. Now, while I agree with that sentiment 100%, you have to remember that we are not privy to what they are working on and or trying to accomplish in a practice situation setting. So while it's a valid complaint, and I completely understand, you do have to kind of take that into account and remember that there may be a whole litany of things that we are not privy to that they are trying to see or put on tape or trying to put guys in certain situations to see how they respond, if they remember certain like rules when it comes to coverage, etc. And I'm not saying that, any of that happened today, but we don't know, right? So that is just always remember that when talking about practice. Chris East, thank you for joining the Carry the G Club. Really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate the support. Patrick Dempsey, thanks for the super chat. Is there a website to check availability of Carry the G locations it's being sold? Not yet, Patrick. We will update cheeseheadtv.com when we have a more comprehensive list from the brewery. In the meantime, I do suggest checking out Gathering Place in Milwaukee. Check out their website. They'll undoubtedly be kind of rolling things out and letting people know when and where it's available as it goes statewide. And thank you for the interest, man. Andrew, thanks for the super chat. Cheesehead TV is my shiz. That's it. That's the chat. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. And since we're here, I do want to say thank you to everybody who has stopped me here in Green Bay and to tell me that they watch Packers Daily or that they check out Cheesehead TV in any way, shape, or form. I cannot tell you how much it means to me. I really, really like it when people say like they watch it with their kids or, oh, my kids love you or whatever. That's kind of mind-blowing to me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I had a number of those interactions today, and it's kind of always blows my mind. Mimsy, thanks for the super chat. New England acting like we pulled the Paper Valley fire alarm. That's a great reference, man. You're dating yourself, but that's a great reference. Ian, thanks for the super chat. Offense this year in compared to versus last year. Thanks, Aaron. Oh, Ian, it's way too early to know. Way too early. I mean, there are certain concepts they seem to be looking at a little bit more than they have in years past, but without any kind of true game planning, or trying to look at different ways to adapt different defenses schematically from week to week, it's really impossible to say. I mean, right now, remember, they're just coming off install. At this point, they're still just kind of not getting their feet wet, but they are still kind of learning concepts and learning how to react to certain coverages and defensive schemes and things like that. It's just way too early to know. You would suspect we'd see a little bit more play action because we've seen them definitely utilizing it more in camp and in the preseason. I think that's probably going to be an uptick as far as their, one of their base concepts or base usages. But it's just so impossibly early to say. I will say this though. I did see. I think it was Jacob Westendorf on for SI has written a piece about how the Packers should let Love sling it, because you got to figure out who he is, and teams are probably going to be stacking the box to try and stop the run to force Love to beat them. And there's that old adage, right? The coaching adage of if you get what you emphasize, right? And so far in camp, it's pretty clear that Matt LaFleur has not stopped or in any way de-emphasized the passing game. The number of runs versus passes in all these team situations are probably 3, 4, 5 to 1. And that's not to say that they're not going to run the ball or they're not going to be effective or efficient running the ball. But man, I always think back to Ryan Grant when he was on Cheesehead TV years ago, and he told the story about how when he left Green Bay and went to Washington for a month, he said they practiced the run game under Shanahan in 1 week more than they did for like a month in Green Bay under McCarthy. It's just emphasis, right? And I don't think anybody watching practice would come away from any of these sessions thinking anything other than they are going to throw it around the yard. Again, doesn't mean they're not going to run the ball. Doesn't mean they're not going to be effective doing it. Man, they are throwing the football a whole hell of a lot comparative to running it. Jeff, thanks for the super chat, man. Sounds like we got lit up. Good. Hopefully toughens us up. Think Matt being too nice may be a flaw. DB's wide receivers seem to compete. Thanks for all you do. Thank you. Thanks for the super chat, man. Being too nice may be a flaw. I guess if you consider it that way, probably. But I don't know if the players on a football field in a professional setting are being nice when they get beat. Does that mean that the being nice was a good thing yesterday when the Packers decidedly won the day? I don't know, man. I always struggle with this one. I hear what you're saying, but I just don't. And I know the adage, of course. The team is always an extension of the head coach and sometimes the quarterback, depending on the QB. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I've always said the one fatal flaw I think Matt has is just being loyal to a fault. Now, if that's what you're talking about being nice, then maybe. But I don't think Matt being a nice guy or nice or just, generally finding and investing in good people, I don't think that makes the defense any more suspect, or the offensive line block any worse. I just don't find a correlation there. That's just me. Greg, thanks for the super chat. My fan strategy for this year, set low expectations, root like hell, drink whiskey, and enjoy the games. If we win, bonus. I like your plan there, Craig. I like that plan. I'm struggling to find a flaw there. 10-10, would recommend. Well done. RJS, thanks for the super chat. How does Bill look? Spry? Let me tell you how Bill Belichick looks. He looks amazing in short shorts because that's what he's worn these 2 days out on Ray Nitschke Field. And yeah, as spry as a 70-plus-year-old man can look. Looks like a young man out there, no doubt about it. Large Charles, thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate it, man. Jim, thank you for the super chat. New player interview drinking game. Take a drink when a player says, like I said. For the truly suicidal, drink when Jordan says, or Valentine says, Now, Jim, why do you want to be like that? I mean, some people have pointed out that I have a verbal crutch that I use all the time. Certain phrases have I know in terms of is Matt's verbal crutch. Like people, you try having a microphone shoved in your face every day and see if you don't start finding patterns to repeat. Jim. I'm mostly kidding, but only mostly. Chris, thanks for the super chat. Did the running backs have a better day today than yesterday? It's hard to say, man, just because they don't run the ball a whole hell of a lot. There was a fumble today. Or no, there was a fumble yesterday. That was right. AJ fumbled yesterday. I did think Wilson had a decent day today, and Aaron Jones was effective in the passing game. I saw there was one play, one of the more positive plays for the Packers on offense in the 2-minute drill. The Patriots sent a slot blitz from Jordan's left side, and he did a phenomenal job of recognizing it right as soon as it was happening and getting the ball kind of over the blitzer and to Aaron Jones, who had leaked out. So he knew exactly where he needed to go with it, and it went for a big gain. I mean, that's the thing. Like, okay, fine, you're not going to be able to push it down the field. You got to figure out ways to move the football, and that's exactly what Jordan did there. It was really well done. Jonathan, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Is not signing a veteran tight end wide receiver sort of an unspoken reaction to how things played out with players like Amari/Cobb? I don't think one has much to do with the other. My hunch is, I was talking about with some of the guys, some of the beat guys yesterday. I suspect some of it is by not, automatically going out and signing someone after Tyler Davis's injury. I got to think some of that is about, well, okay, we'll find a guy who has some experience in the scheme, who we know can come in, who's a vet, and probably maybe not even hit the ground running, but just can be in the mix right away rotationally. But in the meantime, why do that now when you can get these young guys all those extra reps? Now, the tricky part is, of course, on special teams because Davis was such a big contributor on special teams. But you're probably going to fill those roles from internally anyway. You're not going to one-for-one find someone on the street and bring him in and insert him in all those special teams roles, right? So I just think it's more about getting these young guys as many reps as possible before the season starts. Andy, thanks for the super chat. Enough is enough. Bring back Giorgio Tavecchio. I needed that. That's excellent. Well done, Andy. Good pull. Justin, thanks for the super chat, man. Peppers was electric at Michigan, Heisman finalist, and hasn't really made much noise in the league. Good assessment from Jair in that trash talk. I'm just saying, Jair is one of the most effective trash talkers I have ever seen in the NFL. It's why opposing wide receivers get so flustered against him. And then when they do make a play on him, you see them all the time. They pop up and start chirping at him. He just bides his time and makes a play later in the game. But, yeah, he's one of the best trash talkers I have ever seen on a football field. There's zero doubt about that. JD Ram, thanks for the super chat, man. Hoping Jordan's career can be closer to Bart Starr's, but take things from Aaron and Brett. I mean, well, JD, you want him to be the greatest Packer ever? I mean, yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be great. I'd settle for whatever the best version of Jordan Love is. I hear what you're saying, man. I hear what you're talking about as far as, running the offense, being efficient, being smart with the ball, having maybe the ability to make plays in the clutch when it matters the most. But, man, Bart Starr is a high bar. And I know you're probably talking just play style here, but one of the things that made Bart great was his ability to remain cool in any situation and know exactly where he needed to go with the football at any and all times. But I feel you, man. I feel you. I mean, taking things from Aaron and Brett, I mean, he's got Aaron's hard count. He got the Pats again today. Free play during 2 minutes. That hard count is a weapon, man. And I don't think he's going to use it a ton, especially not as much as Aaron did, but it's a tool in his toolbox. There's zero doubt about that. Vex, thanks to the super chat, man. Also a reminder for all of us, this is a developmental season. It is, but you still want to win, right? But I hear you. Of course, correct. Super Bowl champs 2024. Joe, thanks for the super chat. Do today's result affect how Matt LaFleur approaches game Saturday night? When do you think cutdowns will start? It might. It could potentially affect whatever way he's thinking about playtime. I still suspect Jordan will play on Saturday night along with most of the starters along the front. Obviously, I don't think David Bakhtiari will play, but most of the other guys probably will. Speaking of Bakhtiari, I saw a spirited conversation in the chat before I arrived about Bakhtiari and has he even played recently. He played today. Full pads, out there grinding, looking like his old all-pro self. They ain't trading him, people. And Kenny Clark was out there, too. I didn't say that at the top, but Kenny Clark was back, full pads, full participant. It was good to see him back. And Jair was doing teams. Really, really good kind of developments along the injury front. Mimsy, thanks for the super chat. Non-football question. Is IMAX of Stop Making Sense must-see? I saw that they're doing like a whole kind of reunion around it, which is amazing. Never thought I'd see that. I don't think IMAX is necessary for it, though. I mean, it's a phenomenal movie, however you see it, but I don't know about IMAX. That feels like overkill. Jeff, thanks for the super chat. Did Belichick have white New Balances on? Sorry. Having trouble reading. You know what? Got to be honest, Jeff. I have failed you. I did not take note. I apologize. Brian, thanks for the super chat. I went back and watched games from last year. The missed tackles and chunk plays are the difference. Is there any way this could be better in 23? 1,000%. 1,000%. Now, I've said all offseason, the A1 and 2, or 1A and 1B requirements at the safety spot opposite Darnell Savage, and probably with Darnell Savage. Assignment sure, sound tackler. That's it. I don't need Nick Collins back there. Don't need Charles Woodson. I love it, but I don't need it. I need you to be assignment sure and be a sound tackler. And so far from what I've seen, they got, especially in Jonathan Owens, enough to fit that bill. So we'll see. I mean, it includes the corners as well, though. And you got to be able to stick with these guys and some of these route concepts where they're trying to shake you loose. But for the most part, they've got what they need. As far as like Joe Barry, who's obviously the wild card here, and how he approaches certain offenses and quarterbacks, etc., I'm just going to repeat what I've said all offseason. I'll believe it when I see it. Joseph, thank you for the super chat, man. Hey, Nags. Heard even 33 got in today practice. Sounded like a crazy one today. Thanks for what you do. Go Pack Go. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't categorize what Aaron did today as getting into a fight. Like, he got up and took exception at something physical from the Pats, but yeah, that was hardly instigating a fight from what I saw. Vex, thanks for the super chat. Fantasy football should be illegal. That's it. That's the super chat. I mean, I think there's a lot of layers here, right? I enjoy playing fantasy football. I suck at it, but I do enjoy it. I do rue the day that like fantasy analysis became the dominant way of the NFL being covered. It has certainly warped perceptions and ideas about what the game actually is and what actually goes on in an NFL football game. But, man, it's fun. I got no problem with fantasy football. It's a good time. In fact, be on the lookout. Carol, one of our Patreon members, will be starting up the Cheesehead TV Fantasy League yet again this year. So it's going to be good times. Good times, indeed. Too old for this. What's up, man? More iconic aesthetic, Matt LaFleur eyebrows or Steve Belichick's mullet? Man, I will tell you, that Belichick mullet, that is a glory to behold. It is flowing back there. But it's got to be Matt's eyebrows. Come on now. Ayahuasca, thanks for the super chat, man. How are we not emphasizing the run game this season? Seems way too obvious with the veterans at running back and O-line. I think for the very reasons that Jacob wrote about, teams are going to load up to stop them. And here's the other thing. Now, just remember what I said. Just because we're not seeing it in practice doesn't mean that's going to be the case each and every week, and it doesn't mean they're not going to be effective running the ball. You can be very effective running the ball and not practice it 100 times a practice. But with a young quarterback and most likely defenses gearing up to stop said running backs, yeah, you got to get this guy trained up to throw it around the yard. Because until he starts hurting people with it, the passing game, it's probably going to be some tough sledding in the running game. It's just the facts of life right there. So I have no problems with that kind of approach. JRS, thanks to the super chat. Confirm Bill had on Nikes. Credit Jen Mack for the pick. There we go. We're out here. Packers fans are out here with all the info. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, everybody, I got to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack Go.